up, guys? Dustin you here, back with some more NHL19 news. So this isn't kind of like the first part's going to be a little bit of a game changer trailer breakdown. I haven't really seen anybody go too in depth in some of the stuff, so I'm going to try and get through that really quick. But the main chunk of stuff is going to be at the end after the trailer breakdown. There's a new Polygon/Game Informer articles that came out, and they actually go a bit more in depth on some of the information I couldn't share in my features video that I released yesterday after announce. If you haven't seen that, please click right now. It's on the screen, and check that out first. And then this will kind of go a little bit deeper into some of the modes and stuff that really we haven't talked about, like franchise, a little bit more on player builds, a little bit more on the ones, RPM, and yeah, I think that's about it. As well as some other kind of like lingering questions that I had. So yeah, feel free to check that out quickly, and then it's only like 7 minutes, and then come back here and check this out. But yeah, we'll jump into a little trailer breakdown really fast. This is like from a game changer perspective. I'll try and show you guys some of the things some of the other people may have missed. I don't know. I haven't really watched many of them, but give it a go.
For a lot of us,
it's a pretty cool trailer, by the way. Props to the guys that worked at EA with that pulled this thing together. So first shot, kind of like 4 or 5 seconds in, you got a cool image of kind of like the overview of the setting. So it's clearly like mountains based on the Canadian Rockies. It looks a lot like Lake Louise if you put pictures together. And this is also a good shot of the second tier rink, the Cove.
Where it all began.
So that's the second rink in the progression, the King of the Hill.
Hockey was a way of life.
Quick cool shot of the new gear, some glamour shots of some stuff. PK Subban cover boy. See some of the new gear, which is pretty cool. Whoa, nice snipe. A lot of quick cuts. So I'm gonna stop it there. You see a lot of quick cuts during that sequence. It kind of shows off the new skating a little bit. It's really hard because there's a lot of like quick shots, but obviously hockey's a really fast-paced sport, so it's kind of hard to like not do that. But you can see like the skating and the deking is really fluid, and I can firsthand just tell you that that's legit. That's a thing. I'm not sure why the guy's outfit changes. Right there, you can see he's got a blue jersey and then he's there. Anyways, it's a trailer. But yeah, you can see he sneaks it in there. But yeah, the one thing to note really is the customization piece. Obviously, you see all the gear, but you can also see the goalie gear. So he's wearing a camo jersey, and he's also got a toque on his helmet. And you can see a brand new helmet there. Another quick thing I don't think anyone else touched on. This looks a lot different in terms of stretch. I don't know why it's so blurry, man. I think I'm cutting the frames down too much here. I'm going super in depth, but yeah, you can see that. Look how far he's like stretched. I don't know. I've seen them stretch their legs before, but that looks a little bit longer to me. Nice snipe. Cool gear. Just a quick note, I wore that. That's one of the jackets I unlocked while we were at EA. It's pretty sweet. Cool shots of the docks. So the docks is the third rink, and then right here you get into the fourth rink, which is as you can see, it's branded all over, but the King rink. So this is the fourth rink at the resort. So you'll see a lot of stands. It's going to be pretty hype. And then to the left should be the hotel. You'll see it later on, kind of like in one of the other shots, but it's pretty cool. Again, another good shot of the skating, which is pretty dope. One of the new hitting physics collisions, new hitting collisions. So one thing to note there is that all the limbs actually bend and move like limbs now. So you can see you'll see a lot more realistic hits. This is the other cool piece. Again, skating, it's kind of hard to break down, but you can see Crosby with his stops and starts. The stops and starts are so smooth and feel so good. It actually feels like you're skating instead of turning like a Buick around in a pile of sand. There we go. Another thing to note right here, Tyler, or the Flopfish, the community manager, tweeted this out. He said maybe. Somebody asked about 5-man cellies. I think it looks like 5-man cellies, which I know a lot of people have been asking for a while. I know a lot of people might think it's cutscenes. It might be, but I think I kind of feel like it might be there. Another big hit. Boom. More stops and starts. That's a pretty sick goal, but again, like another thing to note is the goalie gear. So he's wearing like a skeleton jersey, which is pretty dope, and then he's got like some kind of glowing eyes skull helmet. And then the other thing, again, the king rank. You can see the hotel in this shot. From the ponds to the pros. Yeah, not much to break down there, other than just like you get another shot at the cool like plaid, the full plaid. It looks so sick. It's so dope. And yeah, the other one is just like Gretzky. Oh baby, so he's like the main announced guy. He's on the Ultimate, the Legend and the Ultimate editions. Yeah, we'll dig into that in a bit. PK Subban, Cover Boy, and once again, it's out September 14th. You can pre-order for 3 days early, which is, I think they've done it the past two. At least they did it for sure last year, but yeah. Now I'm gonna jump into the Polygon and Game Informer articles to give you a little bit more depth on some of the information I couldn't share because we were told we weren't allowed to, but since it's now public facing through an article, we can actually talk about it. Okay, so here is kind of like the overview of the additional information that we have. Some of it is kind of like confirmed via the community manager Tyler or the Flopfish, and the other information is kind of confirmed from Polygon / Game Informer articles that were put out yesterday as well. So first off, we got confirmation that there is no Frostbite and no GM connected, so we can officially say that now. I already knew that stuff, but we weren't allowed to say it. And then a couple other bullet points that I'll dive into. So there's additional World of Chell info, player builds, RPM, and franchise mode stuff. So let's get into that. Alright, so additional World of Chell information. So again, World of Chell is this all-encompassing kind of like multiplayer universe, which will have ESHL, the ones mode, NHL 3's drop-ins, and as well the Pro-Am. So yesterday I wasn't able to talk about Pro-Am because I didn't know that there was any information coming out, but thanks to the articles there is now. So Pro-Am, I can confirm that there is 43 versus 3 challenges or 3's challenges that you can compete in against the AI. So that's pretty much that. There's a little more info. I think they're going to do some more deep dives into other stuff as well. And there's also additional ones info. So again, ones is the 1v1v1 game mode. It's a free-for-all, and yeah, it's like a King of the Hill style. So additional info. I can confirm that they're give or take 4-minute games, which is pretty accurate. There is 4 tiers of rinks. So they start at the parking lot, then it goes to the Cove, and then it goes to the docks, and then you finish off at the King Rink, which is at the resort. Again, it's kind of like a resort, outdoor resort, Lake Louise, Canadian Rocky setting. And then the last thing is that it's going to be played against an AI goalie. On top of that, while you play ones, it's basically a daily competition. So there's going to be a daily leaderboard. Basically, if you're to the top of the leaderboard, you will be able to unlock additional content by being the king of the ring for the day. And lastly, hockey bags for unlocks. So as you level up and as you gain XP through the World of Chell and all the different modes, you will unlock hockey bags. So hockey bags will be the key in order to unlock customization aspects for your player. I know there might be some people thinking, oh great, hockey bags, just another loot box, just trying to sneak it in there. I can confirm that hockey bags are not going to be monetized. It was actually never in the plans to do so, because basically you have to earn what you're playing for, and it's just going to be randomized, so you can't expect to get specific items in bags. You just got to keep playing and hope for the best and try and unlock things. Next up, something that was mentioned in the articles as well is around player builds. So some things that were kind of highlighted. So there is in fact 12 forward/defense classes. They will be similar to last year, so like sniper, playmaker, grinder, etc. The second thing that I wanted to say but couldn't say yesterday, but it is in the article, is that height and weight are adjustable. So you will be able to somewhat customize your guy a little bit. And then on top of that customization, there's going to be dozens of traits. So basically you get to pick 2 traits, which are unlocked as you progress. And then the next one is you get to pick one specialization for your player. The example they give in the article is basically increased energy every time you score a goal. So every time you score a goal, you'll boost your team's energy. But it doesn't boost their stats in any way. So there's no like extra additional ice tilt or anything. But yeah, there's a lot of specializations like that, just surrounding different situations, which is kind of cool. And then the last piece is that you are able to save multiple loadouts for your player. So say you play, a dangler in the ones mode, that's totally fine. If you play LG, League Gaming, and say you're on the Philadelphia Flyers and you play defenseman, you can actually save a defenseman class as well. So you don't have to continuously go through and like change positions and change your loadouts for everything. So it actually adds a lot of customization to your player now. I think they're going to do a kind of like a bigger deep dive into it. So I can't really go too specific with things. But literally you could spend hours just sitting in there fiddling with all the different traits and specializations and how your player looks, the customization, and that kind of stuff. So definitely a lot of stuff to be excited for in terms of ESHL and the world of Chell. Next up is RPM. So there's a little bit of additional information that was released in the articles. Again, RPM tech is real player motion tech. They've added that to increase the skating. The skating is unbelievable. You saw it in the trailer. I did like just a quick little side-by-side with Crosby there. If you guys caught that, you should watch it in slow motion. But basically, you can see how improved the skating looks. On top of that, it also has collision physics, which is like it's life-changing. It's incredible. Again, I know it's a trailer, and that's pretty much all you guys have seen. But I can confirm that it's awesome. It feels so good. But the main point that was in the articles is that different size players will skate differently. So basically, if you're a small player versus a medium player versus a large player, your player will actually move differently. It'll be visibly different. So gone are the days of, I guess, every prior NHL where each player literally skated the same. They all looked the same. They all turned the same. I mean, depending on stats, you might turn faster. You might be a little bit faster. But the actual skating, you'll actually notice that a small player and a big player look completely different while they move, which is incredible. So that's kind of like a big thing that I wanted to point out, which is awesome. Next up, there is a little bit of franchise mode stuff announced through their articles. So the big thing is there's going to be a scouting upgrade, and believe me, it's actually insane. So a couple like little bullet points. So you have to budget your scouts, so you get a scouting budget, much like a salary cap. As well as you get to hire and fire scouts. So again, there's going to be a deep dive in more of this information, and hopefully I can bring a little bit more in-depth stuff. But hiring, firing scouts is pretty cool. The next piece is there's going to be regional specializations, and what that means is that one of your amateur scouts might actually be better in the OHL as opposed to sending him to Russia. So each scout will actually be a little more capable in an area depending on the scout, which is kind of cool and adds a lot of depth. The next thing is that there are amateur and pro scouts. And kind of the big thing to note there kind of goes with the next point, which is a fog of war element. So if you're not too familiar with what fog of war is, basically you will not see who you do not scout. So you will not see ratings until you either play somebody or have somebody play within your system. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work out at the start of the franchise mode exactly. I think there's probably more info on that to come. But basically it means you have to continuously scout with your amateur and pro scouts on teams, and it'll tell you whether or not an aging player is regressing or getting better, as well as being able to look at other teams' prospects. So if you want to make a trade and you haven't looked at that player in a bit, you have no idea what that player is like. It adds a lot of depth of franchise mode. Again, similar to kind of like the player builds. You could sit in the scouting, and I actually did it. I literally sat there for like probably 2 hours and was like, this is insane. Like I was trying to simulate through the game, and I was just like, there's so much scouting you have to do. It's like crazy. So again, there's going to be more deep dives coming in that and some of the other features, but that is one of the new elements of franchise mode. Lastly, and I didn't make a bullet point for this, but there is a little bit of other information that is out. So basically, be a pro. From the articles, there's going to be skill trees with traits. As far as I can tell, they said that it's similar to FIFA. I'm not entirely sure how that works. I haven't played FIFA recently. Next up, Legends will be available in Exhibition, Pro-Am, and Hockey Ultimate Team. It's hard to say how many Legends will be available in these modes, or what Legends will be available and how that'll work. But that's just a little tidbit. And then based on the EA Sports pre-order information, I can confirm that there is at least 6 other big name Legends in the game. And I can just read it kind of like from the website. So it says, Hut Legend item. Put the stars of today's NHL on a line with the greatest legends to ever play the game. Pre-order the NHL19 Legend Edition and choose a Hut Legend item from one of 6 teams. So Matt Sundin from the Toronto Maple Leafs, Peter Forsberg from the Colorado Avalanche, Mark Messier from the Edmonton Oilers, Guy Lafleur from the Montreal Canadiens, Brett Hull from the St. Louis Blues, or Marcel Dion from the Los Angeles Kings. Fulfill your dream of seeing players of the current generation alongside icons like Gretzky and more. So basically, those are going to be the some of the pre-order items if you get the Legend Edition. But it also confirms some additional Legend players that we can expect to see in NHL 19. I know for some people, Sundin and Forsberg are huge. I mean, we've seen Lafleur, we've seen Messier, we've seen Brett Hull. Marcel Dion is actually a really cool one as well. But yeah, at least 3 new Legends out of the additional 200 that they're adding, which is I still can't wrap my head around it. So 2 other things that just came out from Matt Bertz, who wrote the Game Informer article. So he confirms that Doc and Eddie are back, so we can say that definitively. And the second one is that goalies have been reworked to cut down on bad angle goals. So I can confirm that. I actually sat in practice mode for a little bit and just kind of like tried some of the typical exploit goals that you see in like Hockey Ultimate Team and stuff. And I noticed that a bunch of them actually don't really work anymore. So yeah, just like a little bit of hands-on playing time, I can confirm that goalies are a bit better. But yeah, that's it. That's all the additional info that I have for you guys today. I'm sorry the video is a little bit longer than I'd expected, but there's a little bit more info that we have now. Again, check out the 2 articles. I have the links for them in the description, as well as the NHL 19 pre-order offers. It also has a bunch of other links on the side for related articles where you can get a little bit more information. But that is kind of like the big stuff. Again, I would expect to see some deep dives more into some of these modes to give us a little bit more information, so stay tuned for that. But that is a lot of extra information that originally I didn't even know we were allowed to talk about. Again, once it becomes public facing, we can kind of give our thoughts, feedback, experience, that kind of stuff. There's honestly a lot of great things coming, and I hope you guys are pretty pumped. I know I am. But otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with NHL 19 news. And otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, guys!